Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 3G Theater, where the magic of the silver screen meets the charm of Fallout. Broadcasting to you from the heart of Charleston, we're here to take you on a delightful journey. Now let's meet our hosts.
What's up, everybody? It is Friday. You've made it another week. It's time for another top 5. But very quickly, it is well known that I am a camp perv, and people like to wave at me in game and say, hey, come check out my stuff. So we were looking at this kitchen right here. Nope, this is premium content. You guys can't see this. Hang on. I don't know how this stuff gets mixed in like this. This is crazy. Okay, so like I was saying, Higafis is a really, really good builder. She normally specializes in clean builds. The fit and finish on everything that she does is absolutely pristine. Unlike that chair that's clipping through the wall right there, this one was not ready to be filmed technically. She's still in process of polishing and doing, the final touches, stuff like that. But she wanted to show me, and of course I had to go look at it because I happen to be a little bit of a camp perv. The kitchen, though, I love it. I love the island. I love that patio fireplace being in there. Look at the industrial pipes, and then those new lights that we got, guys. Those have a really, really nice look, Keep that in mind if you're wanting to do like a rustic barbecue joint or even like an industrial scene. They look really, really well. But great job, Higafis. So on to the top 5. So this week we are doing the traditional camps. And first up, we have Wren. Now, this is obviously built over in the new area. I like the structure on this. The exterior of it's really nice. And you can see that, he offset some of the walls on it, made some blocky attachments to the building, things like that, like adding the cargo container on there, satellite dish. It gives it that really rustic, scrappy vibe. But I do really like that he's been using a lot of textures and stuff that match the area. So it makes it feel like it fits in, It's very cool. Very cool. The only downfall to doing something like this is, especially with Wren, the last few builds that he's done, they've been really expensive on the budget as far as the structure goes. And that means that he has to be really, really careful and smart about decorating, the interior, things like that. But it's not bare by any means, It's just not as packed as some of us like to make them because of the size of the structure. That's a lot of budget. But it is very, very well done. And I am sitting here with my kitty cat watching these videos while we narrate. He's helping me. He's really the one in charge, Now, this is very well done, though. I like the decorating. I like that new the reload bench that we got. I'm looking forward to using a lot of this stuff. But again, the textures and stuff for the area that he's built in, it makes sense. It matches. And that's a big part of it, guys. I do want to see some good, clean builds, though. And I mean, because I get it. This is a Raider theme season. Last season, it was a very similar thing, where it was a very scrappy vibe and everything. But I want to see some good, clean builds, too. That's why I was really happy that Higafis showed hers. But this is very, very well done, Ren. I like it. Good job on the stairs, by the way. You didn't have a bunch of gaps in between them or anything like that. And that's really important, guys. You got to remember that, you're going to be using these camps. So if you make handmade stairs and everything, your character's going to be tripping over every freaking board if you don't line them up nice and closely. Love the lighting. It's minimal, but it's effective. It's in the right places. Very nice, man. He's got his little spotlights out on the porch. That's a nice touch. And again, guys, I love that you guys are showing these things during the daytime and at night. That way we can see what you're doing with the lighting. His is obviously very minimal. And that's, this is more true to real life, And, of course, the Lady H. Young lady, by the way, she has a monorail system. Not the one that this is hanging from. She created a monorail system. You can see it off to the right. You can see those conduits that are hanging there. She actually has a cart that you would imagine that your character would be traveling, back and forth to get supplies across or to access the structure. Really cool touch like that. That sounds like something so silly and stupid that, nobody's paying attention to that, but it helps tell a complete story. And, she thought about that, like, hey, how would these people be able to access this structure? Because it's clearly up in the air, and she had a solution to that. And she did a good job with that. I actually really like the way that she did that. Those turrets and everything, that looks like some sort of motorized tram that would be traveling back and forth. Very nicely done. It was creative. Seen it before, but not exactly like that. And I like that. You're doing stuff differently. This rigging apparatus on top of the actual structure is slightly concerning, though, because I'm a rigging expert and an engineer. So when I seen this thing, lady, we gotta have a talk about your engineering skills. But it looks great. It looks great. I'm just busting your chops there. No, I like this. I like it a lot. And what's interesting about this, you're gonna see here in a second when we go inside, because this is a tore up, terrible condition trailer that has been stuck up in the air. And one of the things I didn't expect, okay, we're gonna come to it. Look at the floor in that kitchen. She refloored the entire trailer. And we'll see more of it here in a minute. I like this little porch with the sitting area. That's cute. The way that you patched up the hole in that wall is very, very convincing. I like that. It's very well done. Very well done. Now, as we go in, though, pay attention, because this took me, I think, my second or third viewing of it. I'm like, really? She's done all clean on the inside. She refloored it. She rewalled it. This is very, very well done. I'm impressed. I love how you hid the asylum lights up in those cabinets. That was brilliant. It looks like the bulbs just screw into a socket in the bottom of the cabinet, and that was really, really smart. I am probably going to be stealing that at some point, you know what I mean? Very nice, though. And again, the precision with Lady H, you're not going to be finding just ridiculous amounts of clipping, ridiculous amounts. Words are hard, okay? So make sure you jump in the comments and make fun of my speaking, because I had a stroke. I appreciate it. Bubble of Doom. This one, you guys, I feel terrible for Bubble right now, because look at how laggy this video is. This is not just him, guys. And it's not his fault. This is the game doing this. All right? This isn't PC performance, server issues. This is just the game right now. When you go into photo mode, a lot of us are having extremely bad lag. And this has been something that's been coming and going for the last 6-8 months. And I feel terrible for him, because this camp is absolutely amazing. I got to go see this thing in person, and the video just does not do it justice. It really doesn't. But I love this hodgepodge raidery vibe that he's created. Very well done. The interior on this boat is an absolute train wreck and a mess. We'll see once we get in here. It is a hot mess of all kinds of stuff. I'm loving this build though. I walked up and down the structure a couple different times and even snuck over there once when he wasn't at his camp just to get a good perv on it. I really like this. Generally, I'm not real big into the raidery builds, to be honest with you. And I really like this. It came out very, very good. Everything's laid out very nicely. I love that you've used trailers, you've used vehicles, you have this mountain of stacked crap. The lightning arrestor was in there. He's got that windmill. The new weather machine, by the way, I like aesthetically what they've done with that. Very good. Very good, man. It's impressive. Next up, we have ND. And, well, yeah, it's ND. Come on, guys. I've never seen this man produce anything that was subpar. It's unbelievable. I'm thinking that this spot, this is the same one that Moonlight Cowboy had built at, okay? But Moonlight had built up higher above the ground. ND, he just did his at ground level. But I honestly believe that this is going to be the most popular build spot in the new area. And for good reason. The location's great. Look at this scene. This is unbelievable. When you first walk up and you see this little kiosk vendor area, unbelievable. The amount of crap that he has packed in here. And just because you have a bunch of crap packed into a spot doesn't mean that you've created a scene or a story, okay? He has done that though. Like, if you don't believe me, just go take a bunch of junk out of your drawer and go lay it out. It doesn't really necessarily tell a story. So when you see these really densely packed builds and everything, yeah, it's eye candy because there's so much stuff there. But you need a story with it. Visually, it has to tell that. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. I love this look. I love this look. And again, this is another one I was fortunate enough that he plays on PC and I get to go perv on this stuff. Every time that I walk through his camps, and it doesn't even matter if you've been there 5 different times or 6 different times, you're gonna see something new because he always adds so much freaking detail. He's a phenomenal builder, very creative. I love the scenes that he paints. I mean, essentially, that's what we're doing, guys, and I use that as a reference all the time, but you're digitally painting a scene and telling a story. This is awesome, though. Very, very well done. I love what you did with that freaking tailgate. It looks like you could just shut that thing and it would hide the weapons rack that's behind there. Very, very good job. I love that idea. It actually gave me a different, see, look at it again. It gave me a different idea for that same item, but yeah, that usage like that, freaking brilliant, man. Hats off. Love seeing his stuff. And then one person that we haven't seen here too often because they've been kind of busy with things, LD50. This one kind of blew my mind a little bit. So when you first look at this, it doesn't look like, you know, this crazy ramshackle place. Look at the immersion. This is a place that you could go. This would be a place like in real life that you would be able to go. They have an area for all your crafting, things like that. It's well laid out. This is a very good workshop, actually. Um, that's important to me because I use my workshops, and a lot of people they don't. It's honestly a very smart thing if you do not put workbenches in your camp, at least for the top five, because they are resource expensive. They take up a lot of flamingo units. It just the crafting stuff is high expense when it comes to building. So, smart people, if they want to avoid that, that way they can add more junk items, more decorating items. Smart people will not put that stuff in there. That way they can decorate more. I love when you guys actually put them in there. I enjoy a functional camp, not just a piece of artwork. And to each their own, you know. To each their own. But I really do like it in anything that I build. I always include my crafting benches. It's one of the first things I do. I just lay them all out and then I throw them in my storage. That way I know that it's already part of the budget. This business area right here, love it. The countertops laid out nicely. It looked like an actual business. The immersion is what got me on this one because it is extremely immersive. And LD, you never lack with, making sure that you don't have bad clipping issues, floating items, things like that. And, again, guys, we're all going to miss something sooner or later. But before you film or anything like that, have somebody proofread your stuff. Have somebody go through your camp and tell them, hey, look for clipping issues, look for floating items. That way you can correct them and it's presented well. I didn't do that on one of my videos that I recently did, my last one. I had a floating plushie and I got called out by Bubble of Doom on it. But yeah, great job, everybody. I love doing this. I love seeing this. It's inspiring. And I truly appreciate all the participation that you guys give. So, who do you think did it the best? Let's get into that. In fifth place, we have LD50. This was an amazing immersive build. Your shop is very, very well decorated. I love the shelves. I love how you stock them. Everything looks good. It's convincing. And it was done with precision and love. Very, very great job on that one. In fourth place, we have Ren. And this was a really, really cool build. Again, he's been building over here in the Burning Springs area, working with textures that match the surroundings. Very well designed exterior. The interior was good. Not as decorated as I would like, but that's part of the sacrifice when you build such an extensive exterior, that appearance from the outside. Great job, buddy. In third place, Lady H. And I did not expect this young lady. I did not expect to go into that trailer and see everything being a clean build in there. Wow. You did a really good job. And I love that you actually took the time to think of, how would the people living here actually be able to access this since it's floating in the air? And you solved that by creating that monorail. That is really, really smart. Fantastic work. In second place, Bubble of Doom with this amazing Raider camp. And, I really hope that Bethesda gets this crap worked out because when we're recording this stuff, this is our only option to present this stuff. And it has been laggy as crap for some people, whether they're in first person or if they go into camera mode. But this is an extensive Raider build. You did a phenomenal job. I love the layout. I love the overall appearance. And hats off, man. Great work. And last, but in first place, is ND. And congratulations, man. This one was well earned, sir. You did a fantastic job on this. The scene that you created with those vendors you approach and you've got your kiosks up there, absolutely great. I love the workbench area. But the main thing that really is breathtaking when you walk up and you see that vendor there, what a phenomenal scene that you've painted. It absolutely beautiful. And again, great choice of spots. So these are the winners that I picked for this week. Fantastic job, everybody. Um, for my personal favorites, though, neither one of them actually made it into the top five this week, and that would have been Coffee Ewok and Perfect Hawk. So Coffee did something really cool with the Wavy Willard stuff. It kind of reminds me of the Alamo style of build. It very southwestern style. I love that look. And then Perfect Hawk, you built under a bridge, and I've seen a few people build under the bridges now. You have a very, very limited area to actually work with on the interior of those spaces, and it's very hard to figure out what to do with it. And you did a really good job at decorating that, so fantastic work. But a great job, everyone. Make sure that you get your submissions in. We've got another batch of top five coming up. Get your entries in, and you might be on there. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, my friends.